Nitrogen is essential for the survival of life. It is a key element in the nucleic acids DNA and RNA, which are the most important of all biological molecules and crucial for all living things, where it provides a considerable contribution to sustaining life on Earth. The nitrogen cycle shows a more intimate side of energy needs through its essential function in food production. Plants pull nitrogen from their surroundings, including the air, to generate food, and this is one of the locations where the chemistry of the Earth and life collide. Controlling agriculture's impact on the global nitrogen cycle is becoming increasingly difficult for sustainable development. In this video, our group will further discuss about invasive species, the nitrogen cycle itself, the effect of invasive species on the nitrogen cycle, the anthropogenic effects, epigenetics, and solutions.
Invasive species, an introduced organism that overpopulates and damages its new environment, is referred to as invasive species. Even though the majority of introduced species are neutral or helpful to other species, invasive species negatively impact habitats and bioregions, harming their ecology, environment, and economy. There are a number of methods we may fight invasive species. Some people have employed other species that can compete with them, but doing so poses a danger that the new species will end up being the invasive one. Additionally, there have been instances where people have killed invasive species on the ground while using chemicals. Significant challenges to biodiversity are posed by invasive species, which alter, destroy, or replace natural habitats and compete with native fauna. Nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen cycle is the biogeochemical process through which nitrogen is changed into a variety of chemical forms as it moves across ecosystem in the atmosphere, on land, and in the sea. It is possible to convert nitrogen using both biological and physical methods. Fixation, ammonification, nitrification, and denitrification are significant nitrogen cycle processes. Because the supply of nitrogen can influence the rate of critical ecological processes, such as primary production and breakdown, the nitrogen cycle is of great importance to ecologists. Living things lose nitrogen from their bodies over time. Instead, this method is terrestrial land ecosystem frequently entails numerous processes. Effect of invasive species on the nitrogen cycle. Because it is an essential part of numerous significant organic components such as proteins, genetic material, chlorophyll, and nitrogen is necessary for all living things. Although there is a lot of nitrogen in the Earth's atmosphere, most plants cannot directly absorb nitrogen gas from the environment. Instead, nitrogen is taken up by plants from the soil as an organic substances like nitrate. The most common form of nitrogen needed by plants is nitrate, and levels of nitrates in soil were frequently low until widespread human intervention with the nitrogen cycle. As an illustration, almost half of the nitrogen added to agriculture areas by farmers is not utilized by the crops and reaches habitats downstream through leaching and downwind through the air. Some naturally occurring species, however, are placed at comparative disadvantages versus faster-growing invasive species that flourish in nitrogen-rich soil as a result of human activity increasing nitrogen deposition.
Human activities can affect the global nitrogen cycle, and this is called anthropogenic effects. Anthropogenic effect is referring to environmental change caused or influenced by people, either directly or indirectly. The demand for more food is increasing fertilizer and land use, and more increasing energy, the fossil fuel combustion leading to enhanced losses of reactive nitrogen to the environment. Humans are overloading ecosystems with nitrogen through activities such as burning the fossil fuels and increase in nitrogen-producing industrial and agricultural activities.
Addition of excess nitrogen to the ecosystem can lead to decline in biodiversity, soil acidification, ozone depletion, ocean dead zones, and air pollution. Nitrous oxide is a potent greenhouse gas that is released when bacteria that grows in an excess of nutrients in the environment, typically caused by the use of nitrogen-based fertilizers in farm soils as well as in sewage treatment works, where they use nitrogen compounds derived from human waste and agricultural runoff. Now, there is an ongoing research about epigenetic control of nitrous oxide emission by identifying the bacteria. Epigenetics is the process where changes occur in gene functions without changing the underlying DNA sequence. Since DNA encodes the genetic instruction for all forms of life, alternative DNA structures may also play a key role in how genes are read in microorganisms such as bacteria. Their aim is to understand how G quadruplex and I-motif DNA control how genes for nitrous oxide destruction in bacteria are read, and how they can use chemical tools to target these alternative DNA structures to stop bacteria releasing the gas nitrous oxide when they grow in environments rich in nitrogen nutrients.
When other resources such as light and water are abundant, ecosystem productivity and biomass is often limited by the amount of available nitrogen. This comes to show that nitrogen is an essential nutrient for sustaining life on Earth, in which the primary reason why nitrogen is an essential part of fertilizers is that it is used to enhance soil quality for agricultural activities. However, human activities have a significant impact on the nitrogen cycle. Activities such as combustion of fossil fuels, production of nitrogen fertilizers, cultivation of nitrogen-fixing legumes, and many more. We should start acting as soon as possible to minimize the damages that have been made over the past few years. And the things that we could do are to avoid the use of chemical fertilizers, manage livestock waste better, reduce water consumption, add more plants and shrubbery, eat energy-efficient foods, and choose organic. Through these simple acts, we are actually helping bringing back the inert nitrogen from the air into the biochemical process in plants and animals. In order to implement steps to stop the spread of invasive species, it is necessary to prioritize ecosystems according to their susceptibility to climate change and invasive species. In addition to that, to prevent species from becoming invasive, this should require putting in place effective biosecurity measures to control priority initiative techniques as well as early warning and fast eradication. The importance of global cooperation cannot be overstated. And to increase ecosystem resilience to climate change, invasive species should be prioritized for control or elimination in ecosystems that are currently threatened by them. Finally, it is crucial to identify, eradicate, or control species that are in danger of spreading and becoming invasive as a result of climate change.